Could you take us back to the beginning? How did you discover your passion for storytelling and the arts?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm Filipino and storytelling
Hmm.
is a huge part of our community. I mean, I've been singing karaoke and doing plays for my family, forcing them to watch me since I was like 3. So I think I've always been an entertainer. It was something that our family loves. We do karaoke at Christmas, we do karaoke at birthday parties. You do karaoke all the time. And my Lola really wanted me to be on America's Got Talent. But so it started from a really young age, but I growing up there wasn't a lot of Filipino actresses that were really making
Yeah.
it. So it was never really like it didn't seem like a profession I could actually pursue. It was always something I did because I loved it and it was fun. So I did plays in high school and did that for fun. But really, my family immigrated from the Philippines, so they were very much like, you need a stable job, and
Yeah.
you need to support yourself. And I just don't think we had any expanders for, that like we have Joe Coy now, which is wonderful, and so Vanessa Hudgens, Shay Mitchell. There's a lot of people that are coming out now and are very successful. But when I was young, we didn't really have that. So um, I really went against the grain when I decided to be an actor. My family wasn't supportive of it. So, uh, but what happened was basically I was in college. I went to Loyola Marymount, and my dad was like, "You need to pick like a major that is sustainable." So then I was like, "F you, English," which is hilarious. But then I kept taking drama classes, and then finally the head of the department was like, "Nikki, what are you doing? Like, you have enough to double degree. You belong here. Like, what's up?"
Yeah.
So I made the leap, and then in 2010 I got into I did the ABC Diversity Showcase, which is kind of like which kind of started my career in the sense that I started believing I could actually do this. But it's been a long journey. Like, I did that showcase in 2010, and then I did the CBS Diversity Showcase in 2019. So it was like 9 years of like hard work and grind. With the ABC one, I did more drama, and in the CBS one, I found more of my comedic voice. So that just opened a ton of doors for me. So that really since 2010, I've been like busting the pavement to work in Hollywood, and thank God it's starting to pay off, which is amazing.
Yeah, you're blazing a trail for the community. When you look at your career as a whole, who or what would you say has had the biggest influence, either personally or professionally?
Oh my gosh, the biggest influence. Um, wow, that's such a good part. I mean, I'm a huge self-help person. So honestly, Oprah,
Same.
when I feel sad or down, it was like Super Soul Sunday that really kind of pulled me through. And just in terms of just like believing that you're worthy of what you want and knowing that you can have it and working hard at no matter, the idea of resilience um and hard work and just, because I think in Asian culture, it's very much like your elders
Mhm.
right, right? And you take care of your parents and you follow the rules. And so I fought that for so long, because I wanted to be like a good daughter, you know? And then finally it got to the point where it was like everything in my body, and I think it was like a lot of the self-help stuff I was listening to, everything in my body was like, you love acting. What are you doing? Like, you don't want to be a nurse. you know so then it was almost like exploding out of me. But I think it was like really Tony Robbins too, like a lot of that
Mm.
stuff really opened my mind to just, you can achieve your goals even if it may seem impossible because nobody else around you has.
Yeah, you're destined to be a storyteller, and you've had a lot of success throughout your career. When you look back, is there a pinch me moment?
Oh man, a pinch me moment. Well, honestly, a pinch me moment was probably like a Christmas movie that I'm promoting right now. I did a movie called A Vineyard Christmas,
Yeah,
and
so good.
oh, thank you. And that was a pinch me moment because, dude, I have never seen a Filipino lead in any. I mean, Vanessa Hudgens in rom-coms for sure, but like a full Filipino girl, in a especially a Christmas movie like this was
Yeah.
huge. for me. And so it was kind of one of those moments where I was just like, this is the roles that I dreamed of when I was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, when I was making all the plays for my family and forcing them to watch me. Like I would emanate, like I was wanting to be that girl, you know? How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days was like one of my favorite movies of all time. Like I just am so, I've always been a rom-com girl. So that moment of just getting to be on set, the character they rewrote to be Filipina for me once
Hmm.
I booked it. My father being on set with another Filipino was awesome. Vincent Ross. I haven't been on a set with another Pinoy. Like
Yeah.
usually, I played kind of like the token friend or the one Asian person. So it's so exciting to see how our industry is changing. But and like getting to fall in love, and it was like it was important that I was Filipino in the film, but it wasn't necessary. I was also like American.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important for representation because it's really just about like our culture is important too, but we are also American. So it's
Hmm.
right. And just normalizing diverse faces, I think is so important for entertainment
Yeah.
experiences.
I love that answer because I've had so many questions about your experience working on this film. But you also got to collaborate with the writer to bring your own authentic experiences and traditions to this project. And for many, it's gonna be the first time that they see the Filipino culture celebrated in this way, in this type of film. What were some of those early conversations that you had with her about incorporating that into the script, and how much more special is this project given that?
Oh man, it meant so much to me. Like I truly have never had this experience in any work I've done so far. So Real One was a production company and Katie Wilbert was the writer. And they basically were just like, we want to make this movie Filipina now that you've booked the role. And I'm getting goosebumps because I remember being like, really? Me? you know? So Katie, we sent me an email and she was like, would you be comfortable like hopping on the phone and sending me your story, basically stories about
Mm,
my family, what traditions we did during, Christmas, like the food that we ate, Tagalog words that we said.
yeah.
Um, like midnight mass is a big Filipino thing, right? So and our family celebrates on December 24th. So opening gifts on the 24th and going to mass. And I don't think I'd ever I don't I that it was so personal in terms of my actual like my traditions and my family. It meant so much. Especially because my grandmother's passed now, my Lola's gone. So it was really nice to keep her alive. She was like the rock of our family. We still all are very close and hang out, but it's just, she was the matriarch that kind of brought us from the Philippines here, which is, a beautiful story. So it felt
Yeah.
really cool to kind of keep that alive. And Katie Wilbert was awesome. Like she would just, and then she would see what I would write. She'd ask me more questions. She'd incorporate it into the film. She even changed the last name of the character to be Filipino. Um, everything about it was really authentic, and anything she put into the script, she asked, like, is this something that your family would do? Are these the traditions that you want to reflect in your culture? And she's also super funny. So we both come from a comedy background. So Katie and I like hit it off right away as friends. And that was also really cool because she let me improv a lot. And so did the director, Anna Valine, which, is huge because usually sometimes in that genre, you don't get to do as
Yeah.
much comedy or play. Like it's such a beautiful genre, but I love the comedic aspect of it. And so Katie and I both come from like a UCB world, improv world. So that was great. Like we do takes on set with Anna, and she'd say, "Okay, you did the script. Now you can do one for you." And that part was really fun because I also just loved that cast. Like acting opposite Victor Zink Jr. was so wonderful. Brittany Clough, Lucas Penner, like Vincent, they were all so wonderful, and we got to play with each other because of the
Hmm.
freedom to say, like, even after the scene had ended, like what was written, they would let the camera keep going so that we could play and improv and go off of each other. So I fell in love with all of them.
Yeah, that chemistry on screen is perfection. You know, what I love about the film is how relatable your character is, from her struggles to finding that work-life balance, the grief that she's experiencing when you lose somebody. You brought so much nuance and depth to her journey. As an actor, how did you create the space for yourself to dive into that vulnerability?
Oh, thank you. That means a lot. When I do like my imagination work, it's always happening to me, right?
Mm.
So in that sense, the I mean, I'm very close to my mom. Like, even thinking about anything happening to her just makes me want to cry. But she was a single mom until I was like 10. Oh my God, Nikki, don't cry.
Mm.
So I think it was very easy to kind of slip into what would that world look like if my mom wasn't there. And as an actor, that's kind of like the fun part of it, right? Like, things become so real in that sense. So, and I think that comes from the play that I had as a kid, because you know um like, I would act out the Sound of Music and pretend that I was one of the Von Trapp children. Like, it's so it's very easy for me to believe imaginary circumstances. So
Mhm.
in that sense, that was very easy to access. And I think also just the chemistry with the cast, because that's really special. That doesn't always happen. I've been lucky that I've had that with the last couple movies I've done, but we had such great chemistry that there really wasn't a lot of like acting, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And like, I think we can all relate to losing someone important to us, whether we've actually lost someone or the idea of, knowing one day we will. So that was really tender, because getting to play with the cast was just fun. It's great when you get to play opposite someone. Like, playing opposite Victor was wonderful because we were friends. Like, instantly there was a chemistry there. So Brittany too, Lucas, all of them. So there was like no acting work required. We all just really enjoyed each other. And I just liked them all as people. So I think the relationships felt real that way.
Like you were saying earlier, I know this is a rom-com, but that relationship between your character and her father is so special. And like you were saying, it's so rare to see one Asian, let alone two Asians in a project. What was it like getting to collaborate with Vincent and building that dynamic?
Oh, it was awesome. Vincent is so wonderful and he's so cool. I think in that sense too, it was very easy because Vince is like, he has that fatherly energy. He has younger daughters. And just like having that feeling of like two Filipinos on set was huge, right? So even us like cracking jokes in Tagalog or playing Christmas music, we were teaching some of the cast how to talk in a Taglish accent. We're talking about our puto bongbong. Like, all of the food, it was such an easy relationship between us. And he's just such a lovely human. And what was cool is, actually, we had worked together before. So I did another rom-com
Hmm.
that's out in Canada right now. And he did a role on that. So we had met prior and also got to speak Tagalog in the wedding contest, that movie, to each other. He played a like very famous florist. So instantly, we already had like a special friendship, and it was just, he's easy to love. Like, he's such a great
Hmm.
dad, you know? But yeah, I think it was just bad. Like, even in our time off, we'd be listening to NSYNC and dancing around, and like, Vince was dancing with us and like killing it. Like, he knew all the moves. He was um he's just so loving and like receptive. So it was easy to be like, oh, this is my dad, and I love my dad, you know.
Like you were saying earlier, this is your first lead role in a Christmas movie. Did anything surprise you about the overall experience? What was the biggest takeaway?
Ooh, I think the biggest takeaway about the experience is it really feels like a team. And that's definitely how I love to work and want to lead future opportunities. Is It's not about like who's the number one and who's the number 10. It really is like a team effort. And in that sense, like, you get to, when you come, I think, to set with that kind of mentality, this is a family, this is a team, and we're all doing our best, from the grips to the camera department to makeup and hair. Like, I loved them all, and it felt like when you come at it as a community, everyone
Hmm.
cares about the project. And then it's fun, because that's the other thing. It's like, what are we doing, guys? Like, I want to have fun. as much as I can doing these dream parts. And sometimes, you know, being on set is great, but doesn't always feel that magical. And so if I can cultivate that as much as I can, I will. And I think the key to that is really building family from all departments. Like, it's not just the actors world, or it's not my
Hmm.
world. We're doing this together. And I think that's the storytelling part of it that's really fun
Yeah.
too, right? Like, even there, like, it got to the point too where we got close. I got so close to the crew that the crew would like react to the end of scenes, you know. They'd be like, kiss him already, what's going on? Or hey, this, you know, continuity stuff, like people whose job it wasn't to watch continuity would care, because I think they felt that we were part of the team and that they were
Mm.
loved.
And it translates to this beautiful film. And you have to just stand out in this project. Is there a scene in particular that you're really excited for audiences to see?
Oh man, is there a scene? Gosh, I loved so much of this movie. I don't know. I do love I do love the second to last scene when I mean, it's not a surprise that Victor and I end up together, but I think this scene that happens when we reconnect again is that's probably one of my favorite scenes. It
Yeah.
was, yeah.
There's also my favorite scene of yours in this film is when your character is talking about why the festival is so important to her and how it's a little moment to bring back the bond that she shared with her mother. And tears shed. Fantastic scene. Yeah, there's so much authenticity that comes off that screen. I got one final question for you. You're such an exciting voice in this industry. What's next for you, and what's left on your bucket list to tell?
Oh, thanks. Man, oh, there's so much I want to do. I would love to do more rom-coms. So this is just such a fun genre for me. But I would love to, you know, book a series regular and do something too in like that sci-fi world.
Mm,
I love Marvel. Right now, Loki is my favorite show. So well done. Our Eugene Cordero is on it, another wonderful Filipino actor. So yeah, something where I'd get to do the comedy with some of that, with the drama too. And that sci-fi world is just so exciting, I think, especially because I may be the age that we're in with like AI and
mm.
you know, just the future of whatever's happening. So I love that kind of magical, fantastical storytelling.